Kirk Franklin recently shared with his fans on YouTube that he has finally found his birth father at the age of 53. The emotional reunion was captured in a documentary titled Father's Day, which showcased the first meeting between Franklin and his father. It was a moment filled with both joy and vulnerability, as Herbert admitted to never knowing about Franklin existing, having been just 14 and 15 years old when Franklin was born. Is that
Oh yeah, because his
is that
mother made
traumatic?
it seem like it was somebody else, and he didn't like the dude or whatever. So he went on the man's deathbed basically to like be like, "I forgive you," yada yada yada. All to find out that the person that he did not like and he had hate for in his heart was never his father.
That's traumatic though. Even at 53, if I'm Kirk, I'm still. I caught a.
Anybody
I kind of
has.
I kind of caught a glimpse of the documentary. I saw the clip that they posted, and there it was even a struggle for Kirk to find the proper way to hug his father.
I mean, anybody has that. That's like okay. I'm not gonna say anybody. Like me, for instance, my sperm donor wasn't a big part of my life for reasons of me not bonding with him or liking him, whatever. It's not like he didn't try certain things. I just wasn't with it. So we never had that type of relationship where a girl's, first love should be her father. The daddy's girl type thing. I got that from my grandfather. So that was basically my father. So there is always that feeling that I have. Like if I had my father, what type of situations would I be in, or how things would be, or how would I have dealt with certain situations or deal with situations if my father was a part of my life. So, I mean,
All right,
I'm
let's.
quite sure he feels empty at some point when it comes to that.
Any such possibility, I would pursue the truth of it.
I just want to.
What's a clip from it? Just him showing the dude uh, evidence that he is his father, and right now he looked at it.
He took a DNA test, and the mother
Yeah,
said, "No, that ain't real. That's a lie. I don't know this man, whatever." And so, Kirk took one.
here's the emotional part. I kind of felt the pain a little bit. Bear with us, y'all. We're gonna get to the part I felt like was very emotional.
Because I can tell you, had I been aware of any such possibility, I would have pursued the truth about it. No, you didn't know. I'm sorry. Hey, didn't
But here's the
know.
thing, right? How do you forgive your mother? Like, how do you forgive your mother for manipulating you into believing that one guy was your father? Meanwhile, you got someone who's living in probably the way they position it is that he was living in a neighborhood where he had a studio or where Kirk Franklin worked at. That's close, and you go. Just think, Kirk been doing music for decades after decades after decades, so he's probably been working in this area for at least 30
And the
years.
crazy part is, the dude that wasn't his father decided to come around more once he found out that he was Kirk Franklin. Like once he got big, he all of a sudden wanted to come around and be around. Like, and to find out that's not even your father, it's crazy.
I don't know, man. I
Well, the biggest
it's
question is, how do you feel with the situation? Because your father's not a part of your life. Like, do
yeah.
you ever feel like you have a empty void that sits in you where if your father was a part of your life in a positive way, that
No, because
things could have been.
I kind of lost that feeling when I got arrested. So You know, at that point when I couldn't even get him to show up for that situation where I needed the support of my father, and all he could do was talk to me over the phone, I lost all hope that I would ever have um, any sort of involvement, because that narcissistic behavior that he has, if you didn't fall in line with what he wanted you to do and what he believed in, you wasn't a part of his circle. So at 16, 17, I knew that I was going to have to spend the rest of my life learning from other people how to be a man and how to be respectful, and, you know, and then just becoming a father myself, just learning on the fly. I knew I wasn't going to ever have that opportunity to have that support from my dad, or for him to even be around consistently. And then look, it's okay. I try not to. It's a lot of things I can use that happened in my life to say, okay, this is why I turned out this way. Like this is it. Like,
Oh
but
no, it's not to put out there as like you need, like it's a pity party or you a blame or anything. It was just the thought of, have you ever had that feeling where if things were on a was positive and good, like that relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because I look at it as, now that we have children and it's a 2-parent household, and what we put into them, and especially like Alex and you, she's a daddy's girl, 1,000, 2 million billion percent, and he'll play the little hard to get thing, but he's a girl dad, real life. Like that little girl can do wrong, but it ain't really doing wrong when it comes to him and when it comes to them. Like they're bicker, they fuss, they get into it, but that's their bond. Like it's hilarious. This household is hilarious. Um, but it's nothing like, for a girl, I feel like, to be able to have that relationship with your father, that bond, because again, that's supposed to be like your first love, to know what the love that you should receive from your father should be the love and respect for you to go out to search for in the proper spouse.
mm-hmm.
So that is the that's what I'm getting at with the situation. Like,
Yeah,
I
well, when
made
you put it that way, yeah, I wish I had that positivity. I was looking at videos recently, right? And I think you could benefit from this too, where the mother was just sitting in the house with her child, and literally just watching her father, just simply something simple as cutting the grass, and how much she enjoyed just him being around to do that. Now, I don't want no one to cut my grass. I can do that myself, but it'd be nice every now and then to have my father to come and chill with his grandkids.
but that's what I'm saying, like the bond. Like, I
But
think that's what I missed
but that
out.
nigga's crazy.
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying from a girl standpoint, I think that's where I missed out as having, as when I was younger. Because when I was younger, I was off the hook. Like, I was doing shit I shouldn't have been doing at 13, 14. But when you don't have, I had my grandfather. That was my grandfather. He was there, whatever. But it was a difference from my grandfather that's raising me versus if I had my actual father that had the youth to be able to have the time for me to be with my father and chill, and if I want to have conversations about boys and different things and reflecting and that type of stuff. That's not what I had. Even when it came down to my mother. Yeah, my grandparents raised me. My mother was there, but it wasn't like she was there in a position of the do's, the don'ts type thing. It was more of, you know, this is what you should do as far as school. Don't bring me no bad grades, and whatever I wanted, be like, hey, let me get this. I need this, whatever, and that was that. And I feel like if I had a little bit more, I didn't have discipline, and I think that's where I fall short as to what, like my temper, the stuff I say, how I am about certain things. because I didn't have that actual strict like discipline, like respecting my elders and things of that nature. If it wasn't my grandmother and grandfather, who am I respecting? That's just what it was. So it's kind of like a, if I envy any situation or certain things, it's actually somebody who had a two-parent household, who had the mother and father who was there, who you participated in recitals and father daughter dances, different things of that nature. My childhood wasn't a, I had a great childhood when it came to being able to go outside, play, do stuff, be a kid. But when it came to actually that parental bond, I didn't have that. And I think that's why I go so hard for my kids. And when it comes to like the holidays and things of that nature, because my grandparents, I love to entertain and have people over and chill and do certain things because that's how things were with my grandparents. There wasn't a Thursday that they didn't have Bid Whist Day, and everybody from the neighborhood, whatever, came over. They played cards. The kids was in the child's place. Like, you didn't sip the adults. You went outside, did whatever. You was, you was a child. But I also had those moments where I wanted to be able to have that discipline. Like, don't do that. Like, absolutely not. Do not do that. But that's what I feel like my life fell short as far as the parental upbringing. Like, my grandparents, I feel like, did a great job with me. But to other people, would be like, nah, absolutely not. Because I find times where I've even told you, like, why did you want to be with me? Like, because if I say something, or if I'm mad, or I feel like it's a situation, I'm cutting, like, I'm going deep to the jugular. And it's just like, I'm having a genie mind moment, huh?
I also think, yeah, maybe no. No. I also think that's why family values are important because those are the things that you pass down from generation to generation. Like when you're being raised by good, strong-minded people, that that circulates. So why me and you maybe fell short as it relates to our parents? There was values that we picked up from, for me, my grandmother, and for you, your grandparents, and to a degree your aunt, and to a degree your mom, that you can't, you just need to be thankful for, because it could have been worse.
Oh, yeah, most
Like I
definitely.
was thinking, I was telling my uncle the other day, and just me joking, I'm blessed that I turned out the way that I am, because if I had to be raised in a household with my Junebug mother and my crazy ass father, who knows how I would have turned out? It. I mean, I look at my sisters. All of them are college graduates. You feel me?
But your sister, though?
But yeah, don't cry. I'm did my cry. I don't want to cry no more.
It just sucks.
Yeah, it sucks that the streets kind of
I know like, my biggest thing is that I feel like in this relationship, I don't have in-laws, but it still
yeah, because
sucks because that's
in the
still your
beginning in
family.
the begin and I
No
think
matter how I feel,
over
my
the
part is to always support you because that is still your family. And it sucks that no matter how hard you've tried because of me saying, babe, you should do this, you should try this, whatever, because y'all are not family oriented when it comes to your mother's side. Y'all are not family oriented when it comes to your grandmother's side. The blessing is that your sisters that are on your father's side, they were raised by grandparents who made family a priority. So that's why they so close knit, and that's why when situations come up, holidays or different things, I'm like, we should do this, we should try that. And sometimes I do get in my feelings when you be standoffish about situations because it's like, why don't you want to keep that bond? Or why don't you feel like that should be a priority when it comes to situations like that? Because we have kids. And you may say, well, I don't have to. You make time for, like I always say, who and what you want to make time for. So if you really wanted to make time for your kids to have a better bond, or for you to have a better bond, with your siblings and stuff, you would. But I feel like that's a traumatic thing for you. So it's like, why even revisit the situation?
Hmm. But it takes more than just one person to kind of build those relationships. I can't do it by myself. I think I spent the last few days racking my brain like, where did it go wrong for Joy? Because I remember Carl's first birthday, I went and got Joy, and Joy was at that party, and yeah, she was smoking a little bit, but she was in good spirits. She was proud to be a mom. She was doing the best she could for her son. And then it's just like the world just dropped from under her. And we're not gonna document all the bad stuff that happened over the last decade, but there were a lot of times that I saw her in a lot of tough situations, and I did my best to try to help her when I could. And you know, I never thought this day would come, and and this is how it would end. So I'm sorry. That's all I can say. I'm sorry.